Today I'm going to talk about the update statement. So with update statements, you can modify value in a column in a table, either using a value that you specify or using value from a different column within the table, or using value from a different column from a different table. So let's get to it. For the practice, I went ahead and wrote DDLs to create two separate tables. My first table will be called log. So student ID, username, email, account creation date, and last login date will be part of my columns for the log table. And I'm gonna go ahead and insert these values into my log. The second table will be called student record, and the columns fields that it will include are student ID, student name, and last login date. And the values that I'll insert into student record table are these values. So I'm going to go ahead and run these SQLs to get those two tables created with their data. All right, so our tables are now created. Uh, Log is here, and the next one is the student record table right here. So let me go ahead and open the log to make sure that I have the values populated here. Yes, I do. So I just fabricated these data to be able to better explain update statements through these examples. So my values look okay for the log table. Let me go ahead and check the student records table now. This looks good too. All right. So now that both of the tables are ready, let me go ahead and start with the first part of the demo, which is updating using a given value. So in fact, let me go ahead and open the, maybe I should do it outside here. So let me go ahead and open the student record table. All right, maybe the log student record table. All right, so in the first example, I'm going to perform updating of a value that I specify to update one of these columns. Now, for example, if I want to update, let's say this record here, 1007, and the column account creation date, then I'm going to use the update. So the syntax is update, and then you're going to specify uh, for the first argument, you're going to pass the name of the table, which in this case is log. And then you're going to use the set keyword. So you're going to set is going to specify what will be the object of replacement or updating here. So in this case, you're going to say account creation date, and then that will equal to. So let's say you want to change for the second one, right? So maybe I can change that to 10, 10. Um, um, Let me just copy this over here because this is a timestamp data type for the log. So I want to keep it in the timestamp format. Although if I only put a only the date, the the MMDDYY, it will still accept it. It will give me a timestamp of 00, but I wanted to make this comprehensive by adding uh, all the hours as well. So I'm going to set this to October 10, and then the time I'm going to set to maybe 05, 05, 05. So remember that. All right, so we set it up, and then something else that if you don't, now this is where you're going to have to specify your where condition or where clause. If you don't do it, then what will happen is your entire column will be your entire column that you specify here for the set will be changed to this value. But then since we only want to apply the change to only the second record, then we're going to have to pass in a conditional where clause. So we say where, and then I'm going to use the student ID for my conditionality. If your ID is equal to 1000. So, all right, so this is integer, so I don't have to use the single quotes. So let's go ahead and run this. There you go. One update happened as a result. So let me go ahead and reopen the log to see if that change has taken place. And it did. So our value, our student ID 1007, now the account creation date is changed to 1010 with 555 for the hour, minute, and second. So as I said earlier, if you don't change it, if you don't pass the where clause, then you're going to end up changing everything. And maybe I can just exemplify that. I'm gonna have to delete it and go back and restore this table. So run this. So as you can see, 3 updates happened because there are 3 records. So all 3 of those records are updated now with this generic value. So let's go ahead and open the log. There you go. All the dates are now populated, filled in across the entire records for this column, account creation date. All right, that was the first one, updating using a given value, which we did. In this case, we give a value. Now I need to go back and change this to what I had earlier. So delete from log. All right, so since I delete everything from log, I'm going to insert those data back into log, which are these. I'm going to check it back again. There you go, there. Okay. Let me delete this delete query. I'm going to keep the select. All right, so the second demo involves updating using another column's value. So for example, we would like to we would like to update, let's say one of the, let's say creation date of one of the values in creation date with one of the values from here. So let's say you're going to specify, again, you're going to use the update, and then same thing, you're going to pass the name of the table first, which is update log. And then you're going to set, and then here you're going to specify the name in here, which is the uh, account creation date. So account creation date that equals to last login date. All right, so what's going to happen now if I run this? I'm going to get the entire 3 columns updated with with these. As you can see here, that I got the associated date values from the last login date inserted and updated onto account creation date. So each of these dates are from the last login date is reflected in the account creation date. Why? Because we updated the table log and we said that the account creation date should be the target of the change. updating, and it's going to get its values for updating from the login last login date. In this case, it gives us each of the associated date for that specific record. All right, that was the update using another column value. So maybe I should just go ahead and uh, delete the log and retrieve my original data by deleting the values. Now remember, delete from does not delete the table, drops the table. Instead, it only deletes the content, the values that are inside the table. And then let me go ahead and insert these values back into my log table. Very good. Let me just check it now. All right, those data are there. All right. And before I go to the third and the most important part, the topic part of the demo, with updates, you can expand your updates to additional conditionalities and where clauses. In both cases, you could add where clauses to specify conditionality for those updating to take place. Just wanted to throw that in there. All right, last not least, but actually the most important part of this demo is updating using another table value. All right, this is why I have two tables. Of course, the log here, which hypothetically is a table of a university called education. And what it has is student ID, username, email, account creation date, and last login date. And then I also have another table called student record. So this table, student record. What happened? My table was, oh, um, I'm nervous. I forget the most basic thing. So student record is, think of this as like a master list of students. But in this master list, what we would like to do is we would like to create an update join. You will not see the keyword join in your update syntax, but this is the idea here. Conceptually, you're joining, you're bringing value from a different table or from a different column, given a logic here. So because we have two tables, and actually let me show it for you here. Okay, so the first one is a log. Again, as I said, it's just uh, it's just a table that represents, let's say, a platform, a website that each time each of these students log in, right? And let's say this platform, maybe this could be a university Blackboard or a profile or something. Um, so each time a student logs in, the timestamp is captured by this column, and this column is represents the time, the date that the account was created for them. But then we also have a massive table here, right? This massive table does not bother with collecting small pieces of information like when was the account created or the login date, all that stuff. Suppose this is like a massive table, but this massive table is dependent on actually getting the last login date from a different table. So suppose this table is fed from a database, a learning platform like Blackboard. This table is fed from a database that, again, it's linked to a website where students log in on a daily basis. But in this one is not connected to any database or website, not external server. This table is suppose it's a locally maintained table, and what it does is it would like to keep um, the up-to-date logging details for each of the students. So if you do not have an automated updating mechanism in place, and you will have to, each time that you would like to look at the students, you'll have to look at the student and go to the login details, and then find out the student name, and then let's say student name, and then get the login details, and then go back there and then manually type it in, right? But if you can streamline this process by using the update statement. All right, enough of details. I don't want to confuse you too much. Maybe I should get into the actual example here now. What you're going to do is you're going to start with the update, and you're going to, because you're updating this table, right? So this is the table that will be the target of your updating, and this table is the student record. So you're going to pass the student record table name first, and then you're going to start with the set. Now, because we have last login date, the column names are identical between both the log table, last login date, and the student record table. The columns have identical name, duplicate name. So you have to be careful, especially when you're doing any sort of query, or using the logic where you're connecting two tables, and coincidentally there are columns within these tables that have identical names. In that case, you may need to be careful with making sure that you have the prefix of that table there. All right. So what's going to happen is, first you're going to specify the last login date, and then equals. Uh, Now, the last login date is, again, the name is the same, so I'm just going to copy this over here. Now, because you're setting two column, meaning you're updating one column from another column, but then both of them have the same uh, column name. Then in this case, it makes it ambiguous. It makes the query confusing, So that's the reason I said earlier that when you're dealing with identical column names, you may need to specify the prefix. So in this case, you're going to, since this will be the student record, you're going to put log for this one. All right, so now here you're saying that update student record, and then update this in the student record, meaning this, but then get it from the log table in the same column, okay? But then now you have to specify it again from log. And once you do that, you're going to now you establish the the the, the, the boundary for updating to take place. Now, most importantly, you're going to have to write the conditional logic. What should be the logic? What should be the logic for this update? So you can say where student ID, and here again, uh, student record dot student ID. The student ID is this column right here. For the student record and for the log, same thing, student ID. So not only do we have last login date names identical, we also have student ID names, I created these columns with identical names with the purpose of elaborating, that if you have a kind of scenario, what should be the method you should use. That's why I had to go and recreate a table and insert values based on this example I'm uh, I'm providing to you right now. All right, so student record, and then the second table will be log, so student ID. We both have student ID. So once we run this, what's going to happen is this master list, let's say the principal of the college or university is the one that's keeping this table. He or she will, each time that she runs this update query, this column will be updated, meaning this column will be updated based on the logic if any of the student IDs meet with the log table with this table. But if there's any student whose student ID does not exist, right, does not exist, and in here, then those records will not be updated. Simple as that. And we can also add additional conditionality, maybe like or, right? Maybe the name and put the name there as well, or do like and use the and logic to have two sets of relationships built. But in this case, I'm just using one student ID. All right, let's go ahead and run this. There you go. One column was updated. Sorry, one record was updated. That means we have one student ID that's identical in both places, and that was updated. Now let's check it out. So the table we're gonna open is going to be um, student background. Let's just refresh this. All right, let's look at it. What was it? What was that? So we have 1001, 1003 student IDs here. Then we have three student IDs here, but only 1001 is a student ID that exists in the log. So 1001 was Abdullah. And Abdullah has 03/01/2024. Its record before we run the update was, what was it? Was May 3rd, right? Now this record has now changed to 03/01/2024, and this date is identical to what we have for Abdullah here. So this date was updated on this table. Simple as that. So um, let's say if we change the let me go ahead and delete. Yeah, let me go ahead and delete the log, meaning delete the content of the log, not the table itself, not the dropper table. All right, so I deleted it. Let me reinsert the values in there, and this time for Abdullah, I'm going to put um, 11, 12. That's a good number to stand. All right, so I'm going to insert. All right, so let me open the table one more time and refresh it. Okay, 1 second. That was for the log. All right, what happened? What did I do wrong? So the log. Okay, for Abdullah, I put 11, 12, right? So why did it not delete log? Let me just empty the bucket for the log. Check it out. It's empty now. And now I'm going to reinsert these into log. Right, let me check the log now. There now. So, I put the creation date and the value in the creation date. That's why I was confused. Maybe you who were watching were already able to identify what I was doing. So yeah, my mistake. I was looking at the wrong thing. So I'm not supposed to. Uh, I wanted to. Maybe I should just put this for both of them, not the current date. And one more time, I'm going to delete the log, meaning the values from the log, and reinsert the values for the log. And now let's go ahead and check the log. There you go. So student ID 1001, Abdullah, which again, its username is misspelled, but don't worry about it. Uh, has a last login date of 11/12. Okay. And so what's going to happen is once we run our update query, where we will do it, we will update the student record, which again, that's the master table I keep talking about. This one right here. Okay. So remember, Abdullah is 3/1/2024. So remember, so don't forget this number. So what's going to happen is we're going to change that last login date, getting getting the update from the log table, okay, based on this logic, and also the logic of condition where that the student record should be equal to between both of the tables. So once I run this, you're going to see when I go to the student records and refresh this, remember it's 1-3, so remember this. Bingo, it's 12/1/12/11 now. So it updated this specific column based on this logic to the date that is in the log table right here. This was a comprehensive demo on how you can use update, uh, and I guess you can use my example to create your own tables and create a scenario and then test them for those specific scenario and validate the statements. As always, thank you so much. I'll see you guys in the next video.